Hi diamond painting friends, Jessica here with Tiny Worlds of Wonder, stopping in to share my answers to your diamond painting questions. Let's get right into it. I get a lot of questions on my channel and I am always so happy to answer them, but I thought today I would take a selection of questions from you, my lovely viewers, that are sort of representative of the questions that I'm asked the most often. If you have a question that I don't answer here today, would you please leave it in the comments below, because I do plan to do some future editions of your diamond painting questions answered. Now today, background music is brought to you by my cat eating and the cement truck that is playing a constant C sharp right behind my house. Let's jump right into the questions. Fair warning, this video is going to have a lot of disembodied hands. Susan says, hello, what do you do with the leftover diamonds? Also, would love to see a video on the various ways on how to frame your finished project and a review on where to find the best frames at the best price. Love your channel. Thank you. Thanks very much, Susan. It's great having you here. I'm going to do my best to answer your question today. This is a question that I get all the time. What do you do with your leftover drills? So, here's what I do with my leftover drills. This is not my original idea. I want to give credit to a channel called 4Kids at 147, and I'll make sure to link her channel in the description below. She did a video on how to make a storage box for your leftover drills, and so that is the method that I use to store my leftover drills. So I have just a regular photo box. I think I got this one at Michael's or Joann's or one of those places. And then I've just made some little paper dividers here that are sort of custom fit to my box. And then I have some little tabs for every 100 numbers. And then in the back here, I shove all of my special drills, rhinestones, things like that, sort of unsorted. If you have OCD at all, you're not going to want to look at my leftover storage box, because I've committed a sacrilege, really, but it works for me. I dump all my rounds and squares together in each color. I don't bother sorting them because I figure I can tell whether I need a round or a square for whatever project I'm doing. And to me, it's just not worth the time to make 2 bags for each color. If I dove into these a lot and used them, maybe it would be worth my time, but to me it's just not. So I use these to replace colors where I may be short on a canvas. So if a company shorts me some drills, I can dig into my stash and see if I have that color. I also use these to replace drills that might fall off one of my canvases. Now, just to ease your mind, I have not ever had to do that. But as my canvases age, I make sure that I save the reference guide with the symbols and the DMC colors from all my canvases, just so I can go back and refer to that color, because often I end up, if I'm framing a canvas, trimming off the edge with a legend on it. So I want to make sure I have that information. If your canvas comes without a legend, or sorry, without an inventory sheet separate like this one, you could just use your phone, take a picture of the legend on the canvas and either print that or just save the digital copy. That would serve the same purpose. Now, as far as what I do with leftover drills, besides just use them to replace drills on my canvas, here are some ideas that I sort of have planned to do. I haven't actually executed a lot of these things. Sometimes I use leftover drills on paper crafting projects, like I did on my notebook here. I just added some little drills along the edge and decorated some there. And I just use regular paper crafting glue to adhere those. So for scrapbooking, card making, projects like that. I also have an idea maybe to make some Christmas ornaments that are decorated with my leftover drills, especially my leftover rhinestones. So if I get to that project, I'll be sure to share that with you. But if you're a super creative person, that might be something you could use some of your leftover drills for. These wooden pieces are really handy. And then I've also heard of people decorating the tops of non-washable coffee cups or items for around your house. This score tape double-sided adhesive is very strong. You can get it on Amazon or pretty much any paper crafting supplier. I have a 1/4-inch version here, but it's double-sided so you can adhere it to your project and then attach your drills. This would be a good option if you want to try to decorate some stuff. 4Kids at 147 also has several really great videos about how to use your spare drills on a full coverage cross stitch pattern like a Heaven and Earth Designs. And I'll link that in the cards up above because her project is beautiful and I think that's a really creative idea. As far as the framing options go, one of my favorite inexpensive options is a clip frame, and I'll stick a picture of that kind of frame in the video here so you can see what I'm talking about. Stay tuned. I do have some videos in the works for framing ideas, so hang tight for that and keep checking back. Ricky says, I notice you're working on your canvas flat on the table. When you get the bottom done, where do you go next? I work on a little stand with a light box under, but I want to learn how to work on a big canvas. Have you done a video on how to challenge a large canvas step by step? Thank you so much. I really enjoy your videos, Ricky. Thanks so much, Ricky. That's an excellent question. Let's go on a little field trip. Here we are at my everyday workstation, and as you can see, I don't actually typically work flat. I do in my videos like whip-in chats just so you guys can see more of the canvas and because of the way my filming setup works. But I do typically work on an adjustable wooden easel. I'll stick a link to mine in the description below. It's actually really easy to find one like this on Amazon. And this one fits about a 60 centimeter wide canvas very well. For canvases bigger than that, I just have to let the edges hang off. I have a little example sitting here fairly close to me. Let's see if I can get it up there. This is the Tree of Life canvas from Home Fund that is in desperately bad shape at this point from a lot of expanding and contracting in my closet. You can see where that's happened. It's quarantine. A lot of things are expanding in my closet, but let's not talk about it. On a canvas like this one's 60 by 90, so my 60 centimeter edge fits really well here. What I do is typically turn my light pad so that I have the 11-inch side going higher, and I can work just about up to here. And I go all the way across the bottom. And then what I do is really high tech, you guys, really high tech. I turn my canvas sideways and I go as high up as I can on the middle and just slide this over as I go along, you know, moving that way. And then I go upside down and I do the same thing all the way across and then repeat along the other edge. And then usually what I'm left with is some kind of section in the middle that I just can't reach no matter what I do. So that's where these guys come in really handy. So what I would do is roll, this would all have drills on it down at the bottom here. I would lift up my easel and just roll the bottom edge of my canvas under. Usually that will keep things pretty well in place. If I need to, I just hook one of those alligator clips along the edge. If I need to sort of have one edge of my canvas, like say the right edge over here, hanging off quite a lot, I can attach one end, and that'll usually hold things in place pretty well. Stephanie says, how many paintings do you usually work on at a time? If more than one, how do you store them while you're working on something else? Great question, Stephanie. I didn't blacken out your face because I don't like you. I just want to make sure your privacy is protected. The answer is 1 or 2, but not more than 3 or 4, usually. Let's go on a little field trip and I'll show you. This is one of my favorite ways to store canvases when I want to lay them flat. This is just a cardboard trifold display board like you would use for a science fair. And I actually just lay canvases in there flat and fold the tops closed. And then I stick this up in the top of my closet on the top shelf. And when I need to get something out, it's pretty easy to access. This will hold up to about a 60 centimeter canvas total. So a smaller image area than 60 centimeters. I want to say a 55 fits in there comfortably because the total width is 60 centimeters. So counting the legend, you're going to lose a little bit of space as far as the width you can fit in this display board. But I found this to be really handy because I can close those flaps. It keeps a lot of dust out and off of my canvases, and it's pretty easy to access and doesn't take up a lot of space in my closet. For things that are too big to fit in my trifold board, I usually hang them up using pants hangers in my closet. So for a lot of my double-sided adhesive canvases that I want to store flat so they don't get rivers or damage to the adhesive, I'll just hang them up in here kind of behind my clothes, and they can hang freely, and I find that it preserves them pretty well. Usually your department store is more than willing to get rid of those hangers, and we'll just give you some if you ask. The larger sizes work much better because the spacing between the clips is larger, so that's a handy tip too. I also, for poured glue canvases, keep the canvas rolled up in a box if it came in a box, and I think that's just about the handiest way to store those. And you can even store your partially completed canvases in the box if you just remember to roll them with the diamonds on the outside. Cuttlefish asks, why do you put masking tape down your covers? That's a great question, Cuttlefish. I do that on my clear cover canvases only because when you try to tear this plastic cover, say I wanted to work in a section up here, if I tried to either cut or tear this plastic with straight edges, it just does not work. Plastic tears all wonky and it's just awful. So I just run a long strip of masking tape down the top of my cover. Then I can take my scissors and I can just cut a little section that I want to work on. I'm pretty close to finished with this canvas. I'm super excited. If you're interested in this one, I'll put a link in the description below. But say I wanted to work on that butterfly, I could have nice straight edges, peel back my plastic, and work away. Plastic cuts very wonky or tears very wonky. So this is a handy trick. Some people use like decorative washi tape. I just use plain old regular masking tape. And you can also, if you want to, run horizontal and vertical sections if you prefer to do that. So, Cuttlefish, I hope that helps. The next question is closely related. Cynthia asks, hi, can you explain to me what you meant by parchment paper to use when you roll back the clear plastic sheet on the canvas? Do you cover most of the sticky canvas with the parchment paper and only work on a block at a time? Let me show you. If I'm working on a clear cover, I definitely prefer this masking tape method. I don't have to worry about applying any additional product to my canvas, and it works really well from what I can tell. If you do want to replace your clear cover with parchment paper, it's essential that your parchment paper has a couple of qualities. One, it must say non-stick on it, and cheaper brands sometimes are not coated on both sides. This Reynolds Kitchen parchment paper, name brand, I've had a lot of success with that one, but I will emphasize till the day I die, always test anything you're going to put on your canvas in a small section. If you can, test it on an area of excess glue around the outside edge. That way you're not going to mess up your canvas, because wouldn't you be so sad? I'd be so sad for you. What you can do with this, I'll give an example. is just cut a section like that. And maybe cut enough to do a whole strip at one time. This is just how I do it. You can cover your whole canvas and remove the cover. I typically, I'm going to take my own advice on this because I haven't tested this glue with parchment paper. Yeah, no problems. Okay, so what I would do, if I was going to replace this, it would all be in one large sheet, of course. So I would just peel this back. Run a strip along the top there. And then as I work, I can just cut that with my X-Acto knife into sections, just like I would if I was working on a double-sided adhesive opaque cover. Like I said, you can do this with your whole canvas. You would just, pull out a big piece like this. But like I said, make sure it's non-stick. Both sides. Test both sides on a little square because you don't want to have any mishaps with that. And I really suggest that you use the name brand parchment paper if you're going to go this way. Like I said, I've had great success with this masking tape method. It's quick and easy and inexpensive, and I know I'm not going to have any of the mishaps that I might have with cheap parchment paper. So that's my suggestion for you there. This also, the masking tape also serves to show which side of your clear cover is supposed to face out, because newbies often don't know this, but the clear cover is not reversible, so you don't want to put it back down the wrong direction. It's very difficult to get off. So, Cuttlefish and Cynthia, I hope that answers your question on cover sheet options. Sunflower Ideas says, where do you get your paintings from? I'm a beginner and can't find any that look good. Sunflower, this is a constant struggle for many of us in the diamond painting world. Not only do we have very personal tastes in artwork, all of us do, but we also have to contend with the issue of lots of unlicensed canvases that are imported from overseas. So that's like a double whammy when it comes to finding canvases that you can both enjoy working on and really feel good about finishing. So there are a number of stores that sell licensed artwork. I'm just going to give you my top favorites because I find that these are places that have artwork that I connect with the most. Okay? Distracted by Diamonds would be right at the top of the list. Disclaimer here, I do work with Distracted by Diamonds, locating some artwork and working on licensing. So of course I'm drawn to their artwork because I tend to choose some of it, not all of it, but some small portion of it. I do love Distracted by Diamonds' selection of artwork. Those canvases are hard to get right now. They're available only on Etsy right at the moment, and supply chain issues are making all the diamond painting things really hard. But if you're interested in snagging one of those, Robin tends to offer fine art canvases, vintage style canvases, some really unique things. So I'll put a link in the description below. Another store that I just adore is DIY Moon Shop. Their artist collaborations are so beautiful. They take good care of their artists from what I can tell, and they just have a lot of really appealing selections. This is not stock art that you're looking at when you go and shop at DIY Moon Shop. The pieces are phenomenal and really fit my taste. So if you find that your taste is similar to mine, those might be some places for you to check out. And of course, links in the description below. Some other places you might try, these typically fit my taste in art less often, but are very, very reputable sellers. You might try Diamond Art Club, Dreamer Designs, Craftably, Treasure Studios Art, Diamond Dots, Paint Gem. Those are all really reputable sellers that do legally licensed images. There are others, but those are brands that I have some experience with. And then maybe the tippy top, right at the pinnacle of my favorite option for locating diamond paintings, is fine art canvases from Evermoment. I really only order on AliExpress these days from Evermoment, and I only order public domain customs, typically of fine art. So if you're having trouble locating images you really like, I have a video on copyright-free options that I'll stick in the cards up above. After a few seconds go by, I'll also stick in a link to a video about how you can order customs. So those are some really good options if you're struggling with sort of the drop-shipped stock art style pieces that really make up the vast majority of diamond paintings. So like I said, I'm going to be doing a future edition of Your Diamond Painting Questions Answered. If you have questions that I did not answer today, and there were many that I did not have time to get to, please leave them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to answer them before the next video. I hope you have an absolutely fabulous week. Remember, any question that uses punctuation is a good question. And spread some joy wherever you are. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.